Welcome back, folks. We're moving on in statistics, and we're going to talk about the measures of central tendency. And you're wondering, what is that? We'll get there. We're talking about the mean, median, and mode. Many of you have already seen these many times, but we'll at least review this or give my impression of what I think you might need to really understand this. Okay, first, the mean. What's the mean? Well, that's basically the average, what you've been thinking of as the average for years. And that mean is easy to calculate. You've done it for years. What this says on the top is add up all the numbers in your data set and then divide by how many items are in your data set. That's it. Add them all up, divide by how many you've got. You've done that for years. That is the mean. So here's one example here. Are inventors born or made? It'd be interesting to see what you think. So come to class maybe and give me an idea what you think of this. So it says find the mean percentage of adults in the 10 countries. We've got 10 countries here. The mean percentage of the adults in those who agree that inventiveness can be learned as opposed to born with that. So what we've got here is we're talking about inventiveness can be learned. So that means we're talking about the blue part. And you can see the percentages, 92%, 84%, all the way down to 75% in Brazil. So all we need to do is take those percentages in that graph, add them up, and since we've got 10 countries, divide by 10, bingo, 79.9% is the average of those. And average we refer to as the mean, and X bar, if we happen to use our calculator, for example, our calculator is going to label it as X bar. And by the way, yes, is X bar. Now, there's another thing though. Those were 10 individual items, but what if we've got a lot of them? What if we've got a table that tells us, okay, these are the ratings, and here's how many of each one we have? Well, this is what I'm talking about. So we're talking about stress here, and where's my marker? There we go. Here are the stress ratings, and those stress ratings go from 0 to 10. 10, well, you don't want to think about how nasty that would be, right? But 0 to 10, and what we've got on the right column is how many had a stress rating of 0, how many had a stress rating of 1, 2, and down here this is stress rating of 7. How many did we have that recorded that stress rating? 31 people. And down at the end, stress rating of 10. Boy, that's scary, right? And there were 14 of those people that recorded a 10 on their stress rating. Well, how could we find the average of those? Well, this would be quite annoying if we had to split this up and put a pair of zeros from this. Then we have a 1. And then we have 3 2s, so we 2, 2, 2, and all the way down the line. That's quite a few. Well, there has to be a better way of doing that, right? Well, what I'm going to show you in class is how you can take that and do it in the most economic way possible using the calculator. But since showing you that is much easier in person, I'm going to hold off until in class. So bring that up. You can even use this table if you like, or if you see something in in the book or somewhere else as an example, and you want to use that, we'll do that in class. So this is what the calculator is going to do, or you could do that by yourself. Is what we've got here is each one of these stress ratings, we've got 2 of those zeros. So multiply the stress rating times how many there are, and you get a product of 0 for this first one. So the second one, stress rating of 1, we've got 1 of those, and 1 times 1 is 1, that's easy. Here we've got stress rating of 2, there are 3 people that recorded this stress rating of 2, so multiply those 2 together, 6, all the way across. So down here, for example, at a stress rating of 8, a little bit nervous, right? But multiply the 8 times the 26 people that had that stress rating. That gives you a total of 208. Just do that all the way down. And then add these products. So you have a sum of the products. And so this is what you've done. You've gotten the sum is 975. Take a look back here. That's what you got from all these products down here, top to bottom, 975. Now, what you do then is you divide it by how many people recorded those stress ratings. So what you do is to get n, add up all the ones in this column, all the numbers in this column, to see how many respondents you had. Divide the product sum here by how many people recorded those various stress levels, and that gives you your average. If you're using a calculator, of course, it'll be called X bar, and if you're not using a calculator, it's still X bar. 6.46, a little bit over halfway. Next, we just talked about the mean. Let's go on to the median. The median is the item that's in the middle, and this is important. We have to have these ranked or ordered. You might want to remember the ordered part. So take all the data items, put them in order from lowest to highest, and find the one that's in the middle. Now, there are some things you can do. If you're doing it by hand, if there's an odd number of items, number of data items, if you've got an odd number, it's the one right in the middle. Done. That's easy. If it's even, then you might ask yourself, well, wait, I've got a tie in the middle. What do I do? Well, you take the average of the two. Good news. If you're using the calculator is going to do all that for you and tell you that the median equals whatever. It's going to tell you that. All you have to do is put all the numbers in, tell it to use one variable statistics, tell it where the lists are, the list for the X values, the list for the frequencies. Next thing you know, you've got it. If you've got an old TI-83 or a TI-84 that is a little bit on the old side, you might need to do something like this. When you get that one variable statistics like this, you might have to tell it, okay, my first list is in L1, my second list is in L2, and then hit return and look for the median. And if you were looking for the mean, you do the same thing, but you look for X bar. There's the mean. Moving on. If you were doing it by hand, here's some data. Notice, first of all, they're not in order, so you have to arrange them in order, from smallest to largest. You could do it the other way, but it makes more sense this way, right? From smallest to largest. Once you have them in order, like here, the one in the middle is your median. Done. Now what if you have an even number of them? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh. Even after you put them in order, like we did down here, you don't know which one to use, the 28 or 34. So what you do is you add those up, divide by 2. In other words, you average them out, and there's your median. And if you're using your calculator, again, I'll tell you, the calculator will do all that for you. It's pretty smart once you tell it what the numbers are and what you want. Next, here's another example, and we're going to find the median again, but using the position formula. So first of all, here are the number of letters in the 9 longest words in the English language. Unfortunately, they don't tell us which ones they are. That might be interesting, but those are pretty long words though. Imagine a word that's 25 letters long. That might be hard to pronounce too. Anyway, whatever. The median is in the n plus 1 over 2 position. So, since you've got 3, 6, 9 items, 9 plus 1 is what you put in the numerator, 2 in the denominator. This is where you're going to find it, in the 5th position after you put these in order. So first of all, take these, shake them up so they're all in order from lowest to highest. Then take the 5th one, there's your median. It's as simple as that. What about a frequency distribution? Well, you can follow the directions here, or you can take my suggestion and use your calculator. So in Calculator Ease, now if you've got a TI Inspire, and I think 1 or 2 of you do, but still, you would put these X values in list 1, you'd put the frequencies in list 2, and you'll do just like I told you before. Put these numbers in L1, these numbers in L2, go back to one variable, stats, make sure you're saying L1 is where these are, L2 is where these are, and the median will be the number that it gives you. And it's going to be in the 76th position without going to all that trouble. Now, once you know it's in the 76th position, how would you do that? This is just interesting. Not that you'll have to do it exactly, but if you know it's in the 76th position, what you'll have to do is very carefully count down and see which one is the 76th one. So there's the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and on down. And when you get to the 76th one, that's your number. And when you go down to the 76th one, notice it's in this line. So the data item corresponding to that is 7, so 7 is the median. Much easier using the calculator, frankly. Example number 2. We've got 5 employees, and these are their annual salaries. Plus, the manager has a salary of $95,000. Okay? Now, what's the median annual salary for those? Well, one way of doing it is put them in order. Now, how many do you have? You've got 5 employees and a manager, so you've got 6 people. Put them in order. Notice they're an even number, so number 3 and number 4 right in the middle. So you take the third income. The fourth income, take the average of the two. That's what we're doing down here. And you've got the median salary is $22,050. You might also notice that puts you right in the middle. And one good thing about the median is, even though one person has a very big salary, it doesn't affect what the median is, because you're taking the one in the middle. If you're taking the mean, this 95, when you added it into the others, would skew it way higher than your average typical salary. Now, notice what happened to the mean. If you took these 5 salaries for the employees, it would be somewhere in the 20,000s. But because of that 95,000 being added in, that pulls the whole mean. The mean is very susceptible to very high or very low values. That's something good to remember. So if you want a typical salary, stick with a median. But there are some times when you need the mean, so you have to be able to do both. Third, the mode. The mode is one of the simplest, actually, and it's the one that you see most often. So you see a list of date items. They don't have to be in order. What you do is sort of clump them together. You've got a bunch of 7s. Okay, put the 7s together. You've got a bunch of 19s. Put those together. Which of these clumps has the most different items? That's sort of how it goes. So for this small group right here, which one happens the most often? Well, just eyeballing it, you can easily tell that the 7 occurs the most often. It occurs twice. An easier way of doing it, if you have more items, is to put them in order to begin with. From the 2 to the 10, and you'll see the numbers like 7, you'll see it occur twice, and all the rest once, and there's your mode. Mid-range can be handy. The mid-range can give you an idea of what's the middle one as well. You take the lowest number in your data, the highest number, and take the average, and that's your mid-range. Next, magazines. Well, we don't see too many magazines anymore, but we do see the equivalent on the internet and on TV and so on. And what they've got is, they've got 5 factors, and the magazine graded those from 165 countries. And the ratings were from 0 to 100. What were the best places to be a woman and the worst places to be a woman? 12 best, 12 worst. Find the mid-range among the 12 best countries to be a woman. So we're going to take those 12 and we're going to find the mid-range. So you'll take the smallest value and you'll take the largest value, add them together, divide by 2, and there's your mid-range. So you take those 12, what's the smallest of those 12? Goes here, largest goes here. Find the average of those 2, that's the mid-range of the 12 best places to be a woman. You could do the same thing for the 12 worst places to be a woman, just as easily. So here's a table of those. Here are the countries and the scores. The best places and the worst places. You might find those interesting. We'll just leave that topic go for now. And And we want the mid-range for best places to be a woman. There's the top score. There's the bottom score because we've got them in order. Find the average of those two values. Your mid-range is 93.6. Well, folks, that's it. Went pretty quickly, didn't it? Almost painless. Okay, I'll see you next time when we'll talk about some more things about data and how to find out some information from them. Until then, you take care. I'll see you.